Hi, I'm Tabitha Bomer with Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas, and today we're going to discuss self-care and mental health during difficult times. The objective of this video is to provide coping mechanisms and stress management techniques for adults going through difficult time. Think back to March. We had just dealt with the time change. We knew it was coming, but it still seemed to throw off our schedule. Then we were preparing to finish spring break and head back to school when we heard the news. We were shutting school down for a few days, almost like a snow day. Then March Madness became March Sadness. School was going to be out for weeks instead of days. Sports events were canceled, and things started to become difficult to find in the store. Everyone had great advice on how to help kids cope and resources to keep them busy, including virtual tours, tips to talk with them about coronavirus, and fun activities. Everyone knew we had to show support to our essential workers. We started making masks, doing sidewalk chalk art, making posters and cards, and ordering food to send to workers. We started working from home, jumping on Zoom meetings, and ordering groceries from curbside. And now we're adjusting to the new temporary normal. You may feel frustrated and just want things to go back to normal. Some have compared the situation to a marathon. While it is true it isn't a sprint, it isn't exactly a marathon either. A marathon has a definitive distance of 26.2 miles, whereas we currently don't have an end date for when this pandemic will end. What is similar in this situation is that it is mentally and physically exhausting. Runners have to prepare themselves for both and have many resources to do so. So you might be asking, where are my resources? Where are they to help me manage until things go back to the way they were? Is it going to be a while before we're around people again? Let me go over a few self-care ideas that you can do, including techniques from leaders just like you. First, realize you're not the only one feeling this way. We're all going through this together, and your feelings are perfectly normal. The effects of stress and anxiety can be lessened by tapping into a different part of the brain and engaging the senses to get yourself into a different mindset. Tap into your sense of sight. Think about the room you're sitting in and describe it. You can also color in a relaxing coloring book made just for this purpose. Your sense of touch can also keep anxiety and pain in check. Squeezing a stress ball, mashing Play-Doh, running your hand on a fuzzy blanket, or even touching your fingers to your nose can effectively pull your attention from what is stressing you. Smells are strongly associated with memory, so pick a pleasant smell to put you in a relaxed state of mind. Find something you enjoy the smell of, such as lemons or lavender, and burn a candle with that scent. Wash your hands with scented soap. You can also savor the smell of your morning coffee, baked bread, or other foods that you enjoy. Studies have shown music can change your ability to perceive time, boost your immune system, and evoke memories. Music also reduces stress, symptoms of depression, and even seizures. Athletes forget how hard they're working out and are invigorated by the music they tune into. Non-responsive Alzheimer's patients light up after listening to the music they grew up with. How about you try and listen to fun or relaxing music to reduce your levels of stress? In addition, you can try remembering and playing a song in your head. By having to think back and remember a song, you are actively telling your brain to think of something else. A similar technique is to think back to what you ate at lunch, then breakfast. What about breakfast the day before? You eventually realize you're not thinking about what was causing your anxiety, but rather what you ate over the last couple of days. If this is the case, then you have effectively distracted yourself. Balance is tied to mental and physical health. Here's a challenge for you. Try standing on one foot for about 20 seconds. Then switch and stand on your other foot for about 20 seconds. If you can do this with your eyes closed, you're doing even better. Let's add one more challenge. Stand on one foot and swing the other foot back and forth for 20 seconds. Then switch legs. By doing this, you're measuring your brain function on how healthy it is. Having trouble with your balance? That's not a problem. Science has proven that yoga improves balance and coordination, so why don't you give it a try? Meditation. Meditation isn't about becoming a different person, a new person, or even a better person. It's about training in awareness and getting a healthy sense of perspective. You are not trying to turn off your thoughts or feelings. You're learning to observe them without judgment, and eventually you may start to better understand them as well. And if you haven't tried meditation before, Headspace offers free guided meditation online. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you need to decide where to focus your efforts. Break your concerns into manageable chunks and do what you can to take charge of your anxiety. Once you break down what is bothering you, you can put it into perspective. One technique to do this is the name it and tame it technique. List what is stressing you specifically and how it makes you feel. For example, name it. I'm scared about having enough food for my family this week to eat. Once you list what you're bothered by, you can list what you're able to control about the situation. Now tame it. I can plan meals with the food I have, and I can practice food safety like washing my hands and cooking food to the correct temperature. When you're presented with a problem, you have a choice of how you will handle it. For things you can change, you have to determine what you need to change, and then actively do it. Anything you cannot change, such as other people, outcomes, and old stuff in your past, you will have to find ways to accept them. One thing that you can do to control is your support system. Who's helping you? 2, your priorities in life like your family, friends, and hobbies. And 3, attitude, which we will go over this shortly, but your attitude affects how others respond to you as well as yourself. Limit your media exposure. Too much of a repetitious media increases distress and even leads to PTSD. Try not to dwell on the situation and resort to other activities away from the news. Stay connected to the people that are important to you. Use whatever means are available. Drop them a line on Facebook, call them, send them a birthday card, invite them to a Zoom meeting, or even interacting through Windows. Some days will be better than others, and it is important to remember that this situation will not last forever. Focus on doing everything one day at a time. Sticking with the routine is an important part of taking it day by day. Be sure to eat regular healthy meals, getting up and exercising throughout the day, even if it's just for a few minutes, and get plenty of sleep. A positive attitude changes your mindset. If you look for and expect good things to happen, then that is what you're going to get. This turns I can't do it into I can. Try to look on the bright side. As large cities with high populations and tourism are shuttered, there have been some positives. The canals of Venice are clear. India can see the Himalayas for the first time in 30 years. Sea turtles are thriving on beaches, and most people are driving shorter distances and spending less on fuel. Gratitude. What you appreciate and give thanks for will increase in your life. You can start a gratitude journal or draw things that you are happy to have in your life. Find the humor of the situation. Laugh when you can. And if you couldn't tell, this is probably one of my favorite things to do. Enjoy time with your family. Most families are spending more time at home. Use the extra time to play a game, share dinner around the table, and do things together that you normally don't have time to. Ask for help. Most everyone gets it right now. They understand and they're willing to help wherever they can. Know your limits. Some leaders don't realize they don't have to do everything, and they feel burned out. Communicate with others and say no if you're unable to do an activity. You may have heard you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you don't have the time and energy for yourself, then you certainly can't give time and energy to others. Take some time to do something for yourself. With that in mind, you can plan something for right now, such as a project you've been putting off. You can reorganize that messy closet, reread your favorite book, or catch up on some home improvement projects. You can also start a new hobby that you can continue after the stressful time is over. Start the garden you've always dreamed of. Do an online paint course, or perfect a cooking dish that you love. If you're feeling the strain of being quarantined and your schedule interrupted, then you know others are too. Many parents are realizing how much they appreciate teachers or hairstylists in their lives. Send a card or call them to let them know how much you miss and appreciate them. You can also arrange to have a gift basket delivered with essentials that they need. While you are taking things one day at a time, it is also important to plan for the future. You should have something to look forward to that is not date specific, such as a mani-pedi with friends, dinner with your family at your favorite restaurant, planning a road trip, and that road trip does not have to be cross-country. Check out a town a few hours away that you've always meant to visit, or find one with a fun name and go. If you have utilized a stress management strategy in the past and they work for you, continue to use them regularly to get through this challenging outbreak. Continuity is key, and you can add any other techniques that will further help you. While we have provided lots of techniques and resources to help with managing stress, this is not a complete and comprehensive list, and we are not mental health professionals. If you feel you need more help to manage your stress beyond what we have given you, please check out the following sites from Mental Health America, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the Suicide Prevention Resource Center. These sites have more information and resources targeted towards specific demographics, including English as a second language, victims of domestic abuse, older people, families of first responders, and so much more. You can also call or text the following numbers if you are a patient or family member or friend of someone in need of immediate assistance. Be sure to practice self-care during quarantine. You can even challenge yourself with a self-care bingo presented by the Doozeum. Download a copy and see how many you're putting into action. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope we've provided some help in managing your stress. And don't forget to wash your hands.